How's it going, friends and family? Welcome back to the... Is that only fucked up because I meant to?
Okay.
Or did I do it because I wanted to make sure you know I'm not AI generated?
Yeah. Yeah. AI doesn't do that.
Yeah. AI is perfect. So if you didn't catch on, if you're somehow just fucking listening straight through and didn't get it, we're gonna talk about AI.
I'm not an AI. I'm a real boy.
That's what my AI told me today.
You're a real boy. You sound like a lady.
I purposely picked a lady's voice and made it say that.
Nice. I'm not AI. I'm a real boy.
So, yes. Welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast show about fishing random takes from land 10,000 lakes. You have made it into the random take. And we are going to talk about AI. It's funny, if you listen to the whole podcast, we talked about how we weren't we're going to get into all the hot button shit. Now that it's episode 82, we're going to get into all of the stuffs, right? Mega. I can't even fuck up. I can't do.
Struggling a little bit.
Oh my God. We're going to talk about vegetarians. We're going to talk about Make America Great Again. We're going to talk about vaccines. We're going to talk about Ukraine, all of the fun stuff.
All that stuff. We're going to talk about Gaza. We're going to talk about vegans. We're going to talk about the not cage-free chickens or whatever. We're going to talk about
all that shit. No, we were making jokes about how, of course, we're not going to talk about that shit. That's not what we want to talk about. We don't want to feel the tension of whatever those things. And then I was like, oh yeah, but we are going to talk about AI, which is kind of a hot button thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But we're also not going to talk about it in the sense of like AI. What is it doing? What is the future necessarily? Like, where's it going? Yeah, some of those things are going to come up naturally in conversation, but specifically AI and creativity and what's going on there. And why are we doing that? Christmas special. The Christmas
special. Go back to the Christmas special and check out those ads, people.
Seriously, and go over to YouTube specifically. If you go over to the YouTube version of the Real AF TV podcast Christmas special 2023, you will see AI generated logos for the AI generated ads.
Yeah.
That we read in between segments on the Christmas special this year,
Yep.
I guess, because it just went by.
Yeah.
So, Tim, you haven't dabbled a ton in AI generated stuff, right?
No.
So let me kick it off a little bit. Well, let's just start with the topic of how that Christmas special got there.
Yeah.
So we had the Christmas special, and there were we had it divided into 3 parts, or we had it divided into parts. And so I had the idea that we should read ads, like we should do like an old 1940s style sort of ad read thing, just like a radio ad, right?
Right.
Now we get radio ads all the time on podcasts, but they're, I don't know. How would you explain a podcast? Like, it's the podcast commercials you get are for podcasts anymore.
Yeah.
or it's the host reading off bullet points almost, right? Like trying to make an ad out of bullet points.
A lot of it's actually like scripted from the company. Where they hand it out to all the same people, because I'll hear the exact same ad read by different people.
Right.
And some of them, like Matt and Shane's secret podcasts,
Okay.
they'll be reading through it and they'll hit the parts that they're supposed to like ad lib, where it'll be like, oh, because I'm trimming my balls with the ball trimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And also they'll get to a point and they'll be like, and say personal story here. Oh, like, yeah, I trim my balls or whatever.
Oh, that's great. And it's all so like I okay. So I wanted to have the idea of like those old radio ads, that they'd be like, and this radio TV show is brought to you by
Oh,
Sprite or whatever, like
right.
sprinkle Sprite's dish soap. And it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, that's weird. And then they do like a show, and then they would read the ad, and then they would come back to the show, and it's like a detective show that has these
Right.
ads in it. And so like I prompted the AI with that of like, I need a 1940s radio
Nice.
show ad.
Yeah.
And so
now it's time for a word from our sponsors.
yeah.
Oh.
And it's still that same guy who is never in the show. He just intros it and outros it and does the ads, right? There's that like host,
Right.
the now our sponsors.
Yeah. The most he does is come in with something clever based off of like slightly what you just saw. Oh, that Lucy, she's always getting into something. Let's see what she
Yeah.
segues in just by like saying something like he's been part of what you've seen.
Oh yeah, as in like he's watching it along with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
He doesn't know anything. He just knows what show he's on there.
Yeah.
What'll she get into next? Meow.
Well, I'll tell you what she's bound to slip into eventually is herpes. Like,
yeah.
And okay, so AI and creativity is sort of like a hot button thing right now, but me and you too, you went to graphic school with me.
Yeah.
We went to graphic school together.
Yep.
There is now AI creating things, being creative, and that's that's where those commercials came from. And
right,
that's why I said go over to YouTube and watch the ad, because when you get to the ad, there's an AI generated logo over the VO that me and Tim did.
Yeah,
it's fucking wild. I did nothing
crazy
but type it in. So,
dude, I got
please.
I was just gonna say real quick too before we move on too far. If you haven't seen that special, just so you know that one of the ad reads was for her peas.
Oh yeah,
like the just
my
in
reference
case you
before.
In case you heard Josh's reference and you're like, what, slipping to herpes? So go check that out. That was my favorite.
Yeah, it was great. And okay, so Adobe's doing some crazy stuff. Bing and Chat, because Microsoft basically bought Chat GTP.
Okay.
dall.e has been one of the image generators, and so Microsoft's paired up with them. dall.e's been around for a while because it's an image generator. Long story short is I've been playing with some of these AI tools, and it's fucking wild, and it's fun. It's fun for me as a creative, actually, to prompt the computer to generate something. Damn it, I hit my boom again. I got to get better at
that. Just come up with some stuff. I want to play with it too. I just never even knew. Now I know. What is it? Just dall.e.com?
Oh, no. Microsoft now just links it to Bing. You can go to Bing, and instead of using the Bing search engine, you can use the Bing chat function.
Mm-hmm.
And it has dall.e built in for image generation. So you can just say, hey, create me a image.
Right there, huh?
And it just goes, okay, I will try to create that for you. Boom.
Damn.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Because I'll say it. I'll go into how do you do it. in just a minute. But the reason why I want to go back just for a second is talk about those ads and creativity in general. Is it's allowed us to do things faster and without worry of copyright.
Yeah.
And because, YouTube's really good at pinging off copyrights and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's going to get good at AI generated stuff too. It's going to get good at detecting AI generated things too. But the reason why we didn't say anything in our Christmas special is because we just wanted to see, right? We just wanted to just put it out there in the world and then have this conversation, because me and Tim still wrote the general premise, and then we handed it off to the AI to generate in general, I guess. Right? I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
It's like we needed a rough draft, we needed a rough draft quick. Hey, here's some funny ideas. And then I took them and I handed them off to,
Yeah, we came up with a funny premise and said, write the joke.
Yeah.
And then AI did the legwork, but in a super fast way.
Yeah, in a super fast way. But I didn't tell it to write a joke. I didn't tell it to be funny.
Right. No, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What happened was we told it to make an ad, but we gave it words that would be funny when you try to make an ad out of the words we use.
Right.
So it doesn't know that. So it's writing a sincere ad, and we're just like, be sincere, because what's going to be funny is the sincerity.
Right. So, and this is all just chat, right? This is just text based. So Tim, I told Tim the premise, of like, hey, it's going to be, we're going to split it up, and we're going to need 3 ads. Here's what they're going to do. Do you have a funny idea? And he goes, herpes is funny. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Hell yeah. Want to see that herpes?
Yeah. And so you give me the funny premise and you gave me a few other points, and I did for all 3 of them. I just said, write me a 1940s radio ad, and then I gave it the prompt. It was like, I have a product. It's called herpes. Its tagline is this, which we came up with. Like, I believe my memory is that you came up with the product, we came up with a tagline, and then I would go and tell the AI, write me a 1940s radio ad for this product with this tagline, and it has to be like about 30 seconds long. And it just spit this shit out. And then there are minor edits to it. Sometimes we didn't edit because it's funnier that way. But yeah. Do you want to talk about the edits a little bit?
Well, I was just going to say that there were a couple of times where when we read the sentence, we're like, that English is weird right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels weird to read it as it is. So we would just change it to make it sound right, to roll off the tongue properly.
Yeah.
Just like how I do with the whole Latin. Yeah, just like how I do with the whole Latin fish stuff. I just read it until it sounds right to me.
Right.
Instead of, trying to, I think about like the different vowels and the different spots of where it could be said until it feels right.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with I'll read through some of that stuff and then just change it. Herpes, didn't edit shit. I didn't want to know. I said, I'm reading this live in the recording. I don't want to know anything that it wrote. I just want to go straight into this one and let it be a natural reaction, because I feel like it's going to be good.
Yep. And with the chimney sweeps one, I specifically told it to say, or I specifically told it had to work in the idea of that there would be small children doing the job, because that's just a joke. That's just a funny joke, because chimney sweeps were kids back in the day because they could fit in the chimney well.
Sure.
So that's just like an old history kind of style joke. So I told it to work that in. I also told him that the kids would bring, or that that chimney sweeps, having a chimney sweep would bring joy to it, and it just put the kid thing and the joy together. It just said, because it said something, and I don't have it in front of me, but I remember vaguely. So if you go back and listen to it, in the Christmas podcast, Christmas special, it says like, the childs will clean your chimneys and bring you joy for the holiday season or something like that. And I was like, I didn't fucking tell it to say that the kid was going to be the one bringing me joy. Oh, it's so funny. And again, I think it's the sincerity and then the prompt. And the beginning of this, before we started this topic, it made me think. I heard something in like 2019 or 2020 or something, where humans have generated more information in the last 10 years than we had in all of the years prior, leading up to the invention of like the printing press. So it took us like, and you know, I could be wrong on there. I mean, I could be wrong on the exact window, but it is something like from 20, and I'm making up numbers now, but it was like from 2010 to 2020, more shit had been created than all of humans were able to create from when the printing press became something that was in decent use up until 2010.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking wild? And now it's like, oh, thanks, AI. You're going to just make so much more shit for the internet.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I would assume that that should help cut it in half again. You know, a lot of the shit where it was like, this is how fast we were moving before.
Right.
And now in the next 5 years, we'll be like, what?
Whoa,
But-
we did it again. Yeah.
I mean, definitely from a creative standpoint, I mean, you could tell it to do whatever you want and it comes out. Like, I think honestly, you're going to be able to do this AI stuff with different manufacturing stuff too, where they say, give me this, do this.
Yeah.
And it'll throw out an idea and then they just listen to it. It's like the business people used to, you know, they would always have, you know, the people with the money that call the shots.
Yeah.
They have the idea bringers come up. It's in every fucking movie that you see. Half of the Hallmark movies.
All the Hallmark movies, yeah.
They're just coming into the board meeting. Oh, I got a big board meeting. I got my fucking giant notepad. Here's my idea. Here's my pitch. And it's just some people with power that don't have a creative bone in their body just sitting back going, yes, I think maybe we can work with this. And they go, yes. And then some shit happens where it doesn't work out, or the next guy comes in and steals their idea. Oh no. And the whole movie's the turmoil of that happening.
Yep.
But now AI will come up with that idea too and just be crazy and shit. But the some of the stuff that it does, I absolutely love, because it thinks so much differently.
Than much different.
How humans think. There's a podcast out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, because what is that podcast called again?
It's Dudesy.
Yeah, that's right.
Dudesy. Dudesy.
Yep.
And
I've listened to it too, but not a lot. Not as much as you have.
The opening song that it comes up with is fantastic. It's a song it created on its own. It's a song that it decided, like, they must have told it to make a song about yourself. Like, you're a show. Make a song about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the opening line is, go back to tomorrow and think of yesterday. Like, what the shit does that mean?
What the fuck is that supposed to mean, dude?
But it says it like, go back to tomorrow and think of yesterday. And it's such a good jam. I love it. But it's crazy. And everything you're thinking will be the things I say. Is the
Oh my
next line.
God.
Everything you're thinking will be the things I say.
Holy shit. Oh,
Or
you
no,
know.
what is it?
Oh, go ahead.
Plan. Sorry. Go back to tomorrow and plan for yesterday.
Oh.
It's just like,
You-
what are you doing? Nobody would write those lyrics.
No
But
human would write
AI
that.
did, and it sounds perfect, and it's intriguing. And it's like, what's that Will Ferrell thing? It's in the Jay-Z and Kanye song.
Oh, yeah.
It's provocative.
It's provocative. Yep.
What does that even mean? Nobody knows. It gets the people going. Oh yeah, dude. It's so good. And the AI comes up with different stuff just on its own. I don't know what it's programmed to do or
Yeah.
what's
Well,
prompting
yeah.
it to.
And
but
there's different AIs for sure, but I love Dudesy
Yeah.
because it's a creative AI, exactly what we're
Hey,
talking about.
I mean, it comes up with different stuff. They had a cease and desist because Doozy decided to make a stand-up special of Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady's voice doing jokes about Tom Brady's life. And it's good shit. It's really fast. It hits so many. The timing isn't perfect because it hits so many jokes. It's just like bam, bam,
Oh,
bam,
yeah.
bam.
Yep.
And it's really good shit, actually. The fact that it's able to do stand up in the form of Tom Brady with Tom Brady's voice and actually kill it is absolutely insane. And then the I don't know if it knows like the sideways diss, like what it's actually doing, but they got a cease and desist and they weren't supposed to use Tom Brady's likeness anymore, which is first off bullshit, and they thought it was bullshit too. And they're like, you can't stop us from doing this. We're not actually doing it, but they did.
Mhm.
And then Dudesy on its own decided that Tom Brady doesn't want us to use his name anymore. So from here on out, we will refer to him as Football Baby. So just like, hell yeah, Dudesy. Just
Dude's
like
just working around it.
just give him a little workaround, just being like, oh, you don't want to be Tom Brady anymore? Fine. We'll call you Football Baby, you stupid football baby. Oh man. But yeah, dude, it's insane
It
what it's
is.
able to do. And the stories, oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear more stuff. I've seen other commercials for like Pizza Hut. This is like beyond Doozy and stuff, where you just see the random shit that it just comes up with because of like the narrative that the people have pushed in these commercials,
Mhm.
where they're like, pizza will bring you together, pizza will make you smile, pizza's
Oh.
gonna make you have a good time,
Yeah,
everybody's having fun. And then AI takes that and then just boldface puts it out exactly what the companies were trying to get, to get
The message that
to
they were trying to convey,
yeah,
but it just goes, nope, pizza will make you smile. Like it just
yeah,
flat out
pizza.
says what the message was.
Exactly. It's like pizza makes families love each other. And you're like, holy shit. I love it. Nice. Hell yeah, it does.
fucking nice AI. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you eat a pizza and try to be grumpy. You got it. You nailed it, AI. Hell yeah. But
oh my God, that's awesome.
the execs are just like, that's too over the plate. And just be like, just say
Right.
it what it is. Stop doing this stupid shit.
Stop playing the stupid game.
Yeah. But those AI, I've read a couple of different things. I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but how it, just because it says such weird shit and I don't see it coming because of how it's worded, it's almost like it's kind of like broken English. And that's why it's like,
Yeah.
cracking you up because it's saying things in weird ways.
Yeah.
It's just like, I love it because that's what gets me the most. When I can't see a joke coming, it gets me harder than a regular joke.
Right.
It hits me harder. Not gets me harder. That sounded a little bit weird. Pause.
Also, AI creativity gets me harder.
Oh my gosh, when AI writes a good joke, I'm just rocked up. Dude, I don't even go on any of those adult sites anymore. I go to the Bing and I say, AI, tell me a joke. And AI tells me a joke. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
But so the jokes. Now I don't know the stand up or anything like that. But the like when you say the jokes that it's like throwing out because you don't see it coming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's doing things that it has been, well, it's obviously doing things that's been taught, but I think it's doing what you said. It's like sifting through a lot of it
Yeah.
and kind of trying to get to the point quicker. And that's what
Right.
makes it funny, because it's almost like humans wouldn't do that because the like build of tension is fun and nice,
Right.
and it, like the payoff is better if you build tension right. But like a 3-year-old doesn't do that. A 4-year-old doesn't do
Right.
that.
Right.
And it's funny as fuck when, a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, whatever, just cuts straight to the chase. That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. It's the cut into the chase part.
Yeah. And I think that's where AI is right now, because if you go and look at the logos too that were made, like the herpes one actually turned out really fucking awesome. I have almost zero complaints about that one. But go to the chimney sweeps one, dude. And it's like chimney is like CHMMEY
Oh, yeah.
or CHMEEY, chimney. Like it doesn't know how to fucking spell chimney.
Yeah, there was something else that I pointed at too. I was just like, "What?" It was like, that's weird spelling.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Yeah, I told it to spell it the right way like 5 times, and it just wouldn't do it."
Yes. Yes. I put it in quotes sometimes. Like I was like, okay, I need a logo for this brand, chimney sweeps. Like, and I put it in quotes, spelled it correctly. Like, this is the text, this is the logo. Fucked it up. The Jackman's chewing thing, put the J backwards every time, like it's a fucking 4-year-old trying to learn how to write. It was so good.
Right? This is just weird children stuff. Dude.
Yeah.
It's just a kid learning.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about it that way, but
Right.
that's what it is.
But I'm right there with you, dude. Exactly.
And it's just like a stubborn little kid where you're just like, chimney spelled like this. No, chimney spelled like this. Your J is backwards.
Yeah.
Did you want me to tell you a story about Jackman's or not? It's like, what the shit, dude?
What the shit, dude? And,
oh, it's crazy. But yeah, I love the cut into the chase, dude, where it just gets in there and gets it done. No beating around the bush. And I think that's why everything becomes funny, regardless if you want it to be serious or not. It's all funny because of how it just cuts to the chase. It cuts out some of the middle words where there's certain stuff that in advertising and stuff, it's weird if you just come out and say it right away.
Sure.
So you just kind of insinuate what this might be for.
Right.
And AI just says it every time. Like a Just for Men's commercial where they're just like, painting a little color in there, more distinguished or whatever. And they just show them at parties and they're just like, it's giving me the confidence that I need to, pick up my lady or whatever.
Yep.
And then AI is just like, you need a blacker beard to match your hair on your head so you can pick up ladies at the bar. You're just like, yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what I'm going for. And it's that kind of stuff every time. And it's so good how it just does not beat around the bush, but also the creativity. That's why, not trying to keep harping on dudesy and stuff.
No, please.
But
I
I am
figured that was
so
going to be a pretty big part of this topic.
I'm so curious on how it ends up coming up with the premise and everything that it does. I don't know if they have creators that are giving it ideas, feeding it stuff, and it's coming. They
Right.
act like it's almost like sentient, and they've had updates in the past
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, oh, I need to recalibrate or whatever, and it comes back and it talks a little bit different and whatnot. But like for a while, it was doing ad reads and it was being Tom Hanks. And then after the whole Tom Brady kerfuffle, they started not saying Tom Hanks, but it was Tom Hanks' voice.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tom Hanks' fucking face on YouTube. It's an AI generated Tom Hanks face, but they were calling it like dudes. You would call it Thomas Hankel. It's Thomas Hankel, and then they just have him do an ad read.
Uh-huh.
But the ad read would be for dudesy mugs, and then it would just talk about dudesy mugs. Well, it wouldn't even talk about dudesy mugs. It would tell you the most insane story and then just throw in dudesy mugs at the end of a sentence. Like it was just how it ended every sentence. And it would be some stories about the one of them was like, you're going to go into Coca-Cola, like to talk to the higher ups in Coca-Cola. And when you get there, you're going to have on a white t-shirt with the symbol of the 7 lords of hell bleeding through your shirt because they know that whatever. And it just keeps going off about like this storyline about like you're practicing satanic rituals in order to get what you need from the Coca-Cola company that you're going to advertise, that you're going to not advertise, that you're going to apply for, like you're trying to get the job there. And it even says at one point, and it's like, and you're going to kill the main person because they know at Coca-Cola you kill what you keep, dudesy mugs. It just kept saying it like it just kept saying shit like that. And it's like, is it honestly coming up with these insane storylines on its own? Or what are you doing? Are you being like, tell us a story where Tom Hanks is telling another guy how to get a job at Coca-Cola, but work in also the storyline of the 7 layers of hell?
Right. And that's the fun. That's part of the fun. It's like Dudesy could be its own AI that they're kind of teaching using, open software or something like that. And a combination of different, I know they're using a combination of different AIs, but maybe that's what they're doing is they're like pulling in a combination of different AIs and they're generating shit together. That could be what they're doing. I don't know for sure, but like,
yeah.
It's fucking funny. It's the premise of the show. It is the show. It's the reason for the show. And so it's a creative tool. And that's like what I'm doing with Adobe or Bing. And for small operations like us who are full-time jobs, full-time dads, and then do this too. Shit. It's fun. It makes some of this stuff easier. Now, I'm not going to Bing AI or Chat GPT and saying, write me a 2-hour podcast on largemouth bass. And you can tell by the way we talk that that's not happening.
Right.
But
maybe we should though. That'd be fun.
Dude, we could definitely try it. Like maybe we'll come up with a prompt this year and give it a go and just see, or just fucking have it write it and then just go off and be weird.
Right. We should see what it does to just be like, we need like just the bullet points. We need you to give us one main topic. We need you to give us 2 story, like, whatever the next steps down are, here's the main umbrella topic underneath. Like here's another topic. Give us 7 bullet points to touch on underneath that. Yeah. And just see what
we'll do a random take. We'll do a random take on it. And even if it is fishing,
Yeah, here's our random take. Here's our random take.
Here's our AI generated random, our random take. But so where I'm going with that though is, it allows for things like us to have to do fun things. Like I use it to generate
Yeah.
thumbnails sometimes, so that way. But I put AI generated on there. It allows us to make that comedy because we have funny ideas, and so
Right.
those commercials, the premise was written by us. We just didn't sit down and write them and listen
Right.
to 100 hours and whatever. And I understand this is kind of what the writer strike was about and stuff like that, but we're talking about using it for little tiny operations like us and getting better. It's like I wouldn't publish that on some big giant network or whatever. Like I would
Yeah.
never use that for if Coke came to me and was like, "Hey, you guys are funny. I need you to write an ad, that gets Coca-Cola into the hands of people who fish." It's like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're
Yeah.
gonna figure that out.
Right. Well, that's a perfect example too, because it's like, the writers are like, well, we need to get paid for these things that are happening and stuff, and it's just like, well, what, a lot of people don't realize on a lot of these shows how many writers and how many people are behind the scenes that you don't see.
Right,
And when we don't have a budget to have any of those people,
right.
having AI in our pocket can definitely help in certain circumstances, and definitely
Yeah.
if it gets a little bit smarter, where we can just use it as, I mean, then it gets into weeds too, where people are getting weird, where you're using it as like slave labor, and people are just
Right,
like, that's not fair. And it's just like,
right.
well, it's also a robot that we created that doesn't have any feelings yet.
Right,
You
right.
know?
Yeah. And on that note, even we did write the Halloween special story.
Oh yeah.
Remember? That was
Yeah.
I this is the perfect example of we used AI for the first draft. Like,
Correct.
yeah, I was having
Yeah.
trouble finding something in the public domain that fit our time frame. And so
Yeah.
I gave it a bunch of prompts and it spit something out and I edited it. I did the first edit pretty good.
Yeah.
And then me and Tim did an edit before we even read it. And it was heavily edited in
That
the
one
end.
was, yeah.
That one
That
took,
one was.
yeah.
That one was worded weird in a lot of different spots.
Mhm.
We were like, had to go through and figure that one out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We did.
definitely, but it did good.
It did good. I mean, it was a good story. It was creepy.
Yeah.
It was,
But it did
felt-
have some plot holes, so it wasn't perfect too, because I remember at the end, I
Yeah.
it was just
yeah,
like,
you went in on it.
how, because there was that one part where it was just like, it looks at a cursed book or whatever, and I was just like, we just got there. How the hell do we know it's cursed?
Right.
But it's like, also, I guess some of the different storytelling versions are where you're like it's like the god type
Oh yeah.
perspective, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's just like an all-knowing being,
Right.
where it's like, yeah, you're looking at a cursed book where your characters don't know that, but I, the author, do
Right. I got you.
somehow, because I am all
Right.
that is the author.
All that is the author.
Cursed book.
Right. But yeah, you bring up the point there of like you get into the slave labor and stuff like that because I don't have to credit fucking chat whatever with that. I did say it was AI generated in the credits.
Right. Yeah.
And stuff like that, but I'm not saying like where from specifically and all that shit. And
Right.
yeah, and there's a real weird gray area there. But I mean, dude, for me, if we could afford somebody to write a short story for us, cool. If you're out there in the community of Real AF TV and you really want to write a short story for the Halloween special, you know how to contact us, realaf.tv. Remember, real like fish and real, 2 E's in the middle.
Right.
/contact over on the website. realaf.tv/contact. You know how to get a hold of us. But
yeah,
there's no budget. And it's just like, I don't know. This is fun.
Right.
Is it costing people jobs? I don't know, but look at the way that we're using it now. Look at the way we're adapting around it. I'm a creative.
Right.
I still create
Well,
stuff, and
the part that gets to me, like where you're saying just now, is like you're creative. It doesn't stop you. I think it's weird
yeah,
where they're like, oh, if it's AI, whatever. But I think they can all use AI. You know,
yeah.
you
Why
can
couldn't
have
it be
that
your
premise.
tool? One of your tools.
You can have that premise. You can toss it out there. It can come back to you. Like now, you have become that business exec in the
Sure.
office,
Right.
throwing out your premises. Say we
Right.
need this, we need that,
Mm-hmm.
or the people are showing that this is the hot button topic. I need to make a joke on this.
Mm-hmm.
I have this idea. It happens in the green rooms already.
Right.
The comics are back there having a joke. They're throwing it out there.
Yep.
Other comics are just being like, what if you use this tagline? And just be like, oh shit, that's great. I didn't think of that. Now you're just, AI is just another person that you're talking with
In the
almost, where
room.
you're
Yeah.
just being like, hey, here's my idea. I have this, I have that. I don't know how to make it work. Do you have any ideas? AI just like, what if you put the J backwards? And you're like, no, what the fuck? That didn't help at all, you idiot.
You idiot. It's a shitty idea.
It's a stupid idea.
Yeah, man, for sure. So I said I was going to talk about it, and I'll tell you too, so you can have some fun with it. I haven't tried it on phone yet, so it'd be fun if you're just sitting around one day and messing with it. But okay, people out there, if you don't know how to get creative with AI, it's hilarious. It's fun. You can just keep it to yourself. Even you don't have to put it on the internet. You can just create some funny shit or some fun shit or whatever. Like for me, I am an idea creative person, and then it takes a while to actually get a product out sometimes. And sometimes I think of something that I want to create, and then I just never do it because I know what it would take to create it, and I'm just like, what's the point? Now sometimes on my lunch break, I just generate those little one-off funny ideas, and it's pretty fucking cool.
Right?
Now, anybody listening, you have an Xbox account. I know you do. You fucking liars. Don't you lie to me. You have an Xbox account. Microsoft account. Go to Bing, log in. There's a chat thing at the top. And it even says like it's chat GTP 4 or 5 or whatever. It says that. It just admits, like they just say they're chat GTP. And then it pops
Yeah.
up and you get creative, balanced, or precise or something like that. I usually just click the creative one because that's again, so that also on the
Right.
topic and also what we're doing. And then just prompt the idea. Think the way that I write about it, the way that I write it is like, okay, I know that I'm talking to a chatbot primarily, that this thing wants to generate text, that this thing wants to talk, and it wants to spit out ideas that it can find and cobble together from the internet. And so when I write something, for instance, like the Jackman's chewing tobacco, right? I will give it the prompt. Okay, I want you to create a 1940s radio ad. The product is Jackman's chewing tobacco. Their tagline is "Give her a kiss she'll never forget." Make sure to talk about it in the fashion of a Christmas ad, because this will be in yeah, I'll just say something like that. Make sure that it is in the fashion of a Christmas ad for Christmas time. Make sure that there is something in there about how your lady will love it that you're chewing Jackman's now, and it needs to be 30 seconds long. And you just wait for the text to come out. And sometimes it comes up with funny shit like it'll make your breath smell fresh and leave your smile clean or whatever the fuck it was.
Right.
And it just did that shit automatically based on what I told it. And it's trying to be serious. And it's just fucking funny because listen to the prompt that I gave it. I said Jackman's chewing tobacco. make sure, the tagline is a kiss your lady will never forget or whatever. It's like, that's fucking weird. Make sure it's a 1940s style. So I prompt that because, of course, it's going to be weirder if you give it that era because it's going to go and look for it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you have to talk to it in a certain way. And then if you need an image, you have to tell it like, hey, can you generate me an image of a whale and a donkey getting it on? And it'll say, I can't do that. You have violated my protocol or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So then you say, fine, give me a velvet painting of Jesus in a Celtics jersey. And it goes, oh, yeah, I can do that. And it
Right.
generates 4 images of Celtics Jesus velvet painting. And you're like, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I just tried, but this is far more of just a answer from Bing.
Yeah.
Than the AI.
You might have been were you
around.
on the creative one too? Or were you on the like balanced?
I just did downloaded the app. I think maybe I just did Bing.
You might have done Bing because I think it's called Google, or I think it's called Microsoft AI Assistant, I think is what it's called, to get the chat.
It wasn't on. I see. Give me a weird fact or hypothesis. So I downloaded the app and I didn't have the GTP on.
Ah, there you go. Because it does
what the shit is it doing now? It's just talking. It's just going off.
Hit stop responding because it will just start talking to you. Yes. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I always tell it to stop.
It's telling me weird facts.
Yep. I love this real-time reaction. Now we're going to have to wrap this topic up.
Yeah, we'll have to wrap this up. But just so you guys know, because the ChatGPT randomly told me and I didn't know this, so maybe I'll just share with the world real quick.
Could be a lie.
Sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins can. You're welcome.
You're welcome for this possible truth.
And also I told it before I had the GPT on to write me this joke and that, and I kind of hit it with a fishing premise. And I was like, let's see what it gives me. And it just literally gave me a regular joke. And it said, what do you call a fish that just spawned? A relieved fish.
Yeah, it's not good at being funny. You have to make it be funny.
Right. I gave it a big prompt too, and it should have wrote me a good joke. And I think I was just on Bing. And Bing was just like, I got fish and joke. Here you go.
Oh, so funny. So yeah, that's it. I think we should wrap up. You definitely, if you like this topic, like, subscribe, comment, all that shit. And leave a review, please, and then comment on, hey, more AI topics, because we will. Now, and yes, I just want to say again, generate an image of, and then say it. Like, that's how you'll get it to do images, because it will say, okay, I will try to create that image for you. Otherwise, it just wants to generate text. So that's on Bing. And then on Adobe, it just has an image generator. Like, it just flat out just goes, yeah, I don't know, here, type in this box. I'm going to generate some shit for you. And that one, shitty at logos, amazing at images. So keep hitting us up if you want more of these AI topics. We got thumbnails already that are being generated. I have, for this thumbnail, you are going to see what ChatGPT Bing Microsoft version thinks it looks like. I told it to tell me. I talked to it for a little bit, and then I was like,
yeah.
And then I said, could you generate an image of what you think you look like? Could you make a self-portrait? And it spit out some shit, and it's nice. Good, but it did. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. So yeah, come look at the thumbnail. If you're on the podcast, go over to YouTube and look at the thumbnail. You'll see what it thinks it looks like, what AI generates for a self-portrait. Yeah, I don't know. Like, subscribe, like I already said. So, Tim, what do you got? Anything?
Yeah, all the good stuff. Patreon, like, subscribe.
Thank you.
We're everywhere. Also, I kind of prompted a long response, and I think I'm going to keep trying to see what it gave me. But as I was talking about, like, the fish spawning being like being in a stall,
Mm-hmm.
I gave it something similar to that, just being like, what do you have if I give you this?
Mm-hmm.
And it says, what do fish say when they are spawning in a crowded river? Excuse me, this stall is occupied. It's like, yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there. That was kind of the gist of it.